American rapper Tyler, the Creator, recently released a song called Thought I Was Dead, where he name dropped Coco Gauff. That song is the perfect mantra for Coco because much of the tennis world thought she was dead or down and out after she lost pretty early at Wimbledon, the Olympics, and the US Open this summer. But since New York, the young American has shown that she's more alive than ever, especially after pulling off what might be the most impressive victory of her career thus far at the WTA Finals. Hey, I'm Christian Bass Knight, and welcome to Christian's Court, where I cover tennis from all angles. If you haven't yet already, make sure you subscribe and click that notification bell so you join Christian's crew, and also so you're notified whenever I post more tennis-related content like this. Coco Gauff became the first American since Serena Williams 10 years ago to win the WTA Finals as she defeated Qinwen Zheng 3-6, 6-4, 7-6 in an epic, outstanding championship in Riyadh. Gauff, who now improves to an impeccable 9-1 in finals, is the youngest woman to win the title since Maria Sharapova did 20 years ago. Speaking of Sharapova, Coco and Qinwen gave us the youngest WTA Finals in age since Sharapova and Serena in 2004. Now, from the start, I knew that we were going to be in for a treat. Yes, the first set was 6-3, but it was a very competitive 6-3, and it was 56 minutes long, in fact. The points were long and grueling, and neither player was really able to get many free points off of their serves, as both women did return very well here in this match. I thought Coco was the stronger of the two in the first few games, and she pushed Zheng a lot in her service games, and Coco had 4 break chances early on, but Zheng stepped up and played outstanding tennis to stave them off. On 3 break points, Qinwen literally hit winners, and it was nothing that Coco could really do about it. However, around 3-4, Qinwen's incredible depth of shot, really got to Gauff, who coughed up 3 ground stroke errors and a double fault to hand Zheng the crucial lone break of the opening set. Gauff did have a breakback point in that following game at 3-5, which Qinwen once again saved before sealing the opener. Zheng clearly had a lot of momentum on her side as she broke Gauff's serve right off the bat to start the second set, and then she consolidated. During that string of 5 games in a row for Zheng, Coco's backhand was notably off and very error-prone. I believe the American felt a lot of pressure, first from Zheng's consistent depth of shot. Then Qinwen's movement and defensive skills seemingly pressured Gauff to pull the trigger a lot early on in the backhand side, and it led her to go up the line way too early, I felt. And I also think that when she went up the line, she went too close to the line instead of giving herself more margin. Qinwen's backhand is actually very solid, and it actually gives Coco's backhand a run for its money. And Coco seemingly didn't feel as confident going backhand to backhand for that reason. She just was not getting the same returns from going aggressive to her opponent's backhand like she did with Iga or Arena. Qinwen looked poised to run away with the match when she was up 6-3, 3-1, but I knew that Coco wouldn't go down without a fight, and the third seed did what she does best, which is problem solve. Gauff recognized that she couldn't try to outlast Zheng from the ground and draw errors like she did with Iga and Arena at this point of the match. Zheng was just too solid from the ground for that at that point. So Coco decided to take matters into her own hands and really up the aggression to make things shake herself. Gauff was imposing on all fronts, notably the returns, as the American really started to make Qinwen pay for her relatively weaker second serves. Gauff took the final 5 of 6 games of the set to put us into a decider, and though she had the momentum, I just knew this match was far from over. In fact, this deciding set was marked by various momentum shifts. First, Qinwen broke Gauff right off the bat in the third set and had 2 break points to claim the double break advantage at 2-love, but Coco came in clutch with 2 strong slice serves up the tee to stave them off. Then in the following game, Zheng had 2 game points but could not serve it out, allowing Gauff to break before going up 3-2. Zheng then upped the ante with her aggression and got more active with her feet to ensure that she could hit more forehands, and she went on another 3-game run. When Qinwen led 3-5, 15-30 on Gauff serves, coming within 2 points of the championship, I thought, okay, this is it. Qinwen's got the win now. She's got the confidence, and especially she's returning, and Coco's serve has not been the most reliable throughout this match. But thanks to Coco's solid serving, as well as a bit of luck from the net court at 30-all, and then a gutsy volley winner at deuce, Coco survived and forced Zheng to serve for the title. This is when Gauff went into pure lockdown mode and tested Zheng's nerve to see if she had what it took to win the title on her own doing, and she couldn't. Every last point Coco won during this 4-5 game, it came from Qinwen errors, and that just shows that Gauff has such a high tennis IQ to make her opponent have to beat her at that crucial juncture of the match. Qinwen did have an opportunity to break back though at 5-all, but she made another forehand error to let Gauff off the hook before the American held her serve. Gauff then had 2 match points at 6-5, which Zheng saved with gutsy play. First, the Chinese woman hit a strong serve followed by a forehand winner, and then on the second Gauff match point, she forced the American to try and come up with a tough pass on her backhand, which Coco netted. A lot of people would have gotten down on themselves, honestly, and crumbled a bit after missing those match point opportunities, but Coco did the exact opposite. If anything, she played even better for that deciding tiebreak, and she won the first 6 points to put herself in firm position to take the title, which she did on her 4th attempt. This match was absolutely crazy, and as I just described, there were so many insane momentum shifts, and a lot of it was due to the frequent breaks of serve. I expected Coco to break Qinwen's serve quite a few times, because she literally is the best returner on the women's tour right now, and she has been breaking opponents left and right throughout this tournament. However, I was a bit surprised at the amount of times that Zheng broke Coco serves, because Coco, first, she didn't even give that many double faults and free points from double faults. But also, Zheng is not known for having the best returning success amongst the top players, but I think that she didn't really mind Coco's serve too much. Coco's serve didn't really trouble her, as opposed to like a Sabalenka, for example, as Arena has a lot more pace and kick on her first and second serves. Gauff's serve, meanwhile, isn't as much of an imposing weapon for her, yet at least, so Zheng was able to impose herself more on her return and get her teeth in the rallies afterwards. Honestly, I felt that overall, Zheng played better than Coco throughout this match. It really looked like Qinwen was in control of her own destiny out there, and ultimately she really was. Now, that second set loss was more about Coco stepping up and improving, but I feel like in the decider, Zheng had chances to win more games even before holding that 5-3 lead. And the 5-4 game especially was just her making unforced errors, but once more giving credit to Coco for just being smart in that moment and making her opponent play. I felt that Zheng also out-hit Coco from the ground too, for the most part, and I was very impressed by the Chinese woman's shot tolerance and being able to hang in there with the American and many of the extended rallies. This is such an intriguing matchup because Qinwen has very good defensive skills, which sometimes drew more errors from Gauff's racket, so Coco definitely got a taste of her own medicine out there today. But also, Coco's kind of higher, spinnier forehands and sometimes change of pace, for the most part, a lot of times didn't trouble Zheng as much as it did Sabalenka or Swiatek. So I think that Qinwen handled that well until towards the end of the match. I do believe both women could have done a better job of taking the net and taking charge of the points and shortening the rallies, because to be honest, a lot of these baseline exchanges went on a little bit too long and didn't really need to go for as long as they did if they just came in. And it's crazy because whenever they did come in, they won the most of the points every time. That being said, I think this was one of the best finishes to the WTA season that we've seen in a long time. This was the first WTA Finals final that went to 3 sets since 2018, and it's the first championship match at the WTA Finals to go to 7-6 in the 3rd set. I think it's definitely up there among the best WTA Finals final of the century too, to be honest. It had the drama and the high quality tennis, and it's just not much more you can ask for, to be honest. I also think it's up there, quite up there, for the top matches of the year too, and I think it's top 5. It's going to be top 5 for me as well, definitely. Nothing is going to beat Swiatek, Sabalenka, Madrid, but it could definitely rival Swiatek, Osaka, Roland Garros, although I need to go back and rewatch that match first before I give and definitively say that one is better than the other. I feel like Qinwen and Coco have the potential to really bring us an exciting rivalry for years to come on the WTA, and it's intriguing to me because both kind of have similar games, both with really heavy forehands and 2 solid flat backhands, and Two, also, both are incredible athletes with great defensive skills. Qinwen has the advantage in being able to finish points much faster with her ground strokes, but Coco does have superior problem-solving capabilities too, which we saw got her through there in the end in this match. Both are also still young at being 20 and 22 years old, so hopefully we'll be treated to many more great matches from these two to come. First, giving my credit to Qinwen, she has impressed me probably the most out of everyone in these finals. Well, maybe second behind Coco, but this was her very first WTA final showing, so she handled the occasion wonderfully for sure. And then Qinwen also played a lot of tennis during the Asian swing. She made the Beijing semifinals, Wuhan finals, and then she won Tokyo just days before this tournament, about a week or so before the tournament started. So I honestly did not think that she'd have that much left in the tank to go deep here, but she did not even seem to be fatigued at all, even during this 3-hour and like 8-minute match. So that's incredibly impressive and is a testament to her fitness too. Again, since Wimbledon, Qinwen has been unbelievable with the 3 titles, notably the Olympic gold medal. And I think that the gold medal was big and giving her the confidence to know that she can be a top player. And a slam, I feel, is definitely coming sooner rather than later. Again, I felt that Qinwen was the better player for much of the match, but Coco is just simply incredibly difficult to beat because of her fight and problem-solving capabilities. And she's even harder to beat, of course, in finals. And I think she extends her record of she's now like 8-0 in hardcourt finals. So she's just, we call her Clutch Coco, honestly. And despite the numerous deficits that she faced throughout this championship match, Coco never gave up and she kept fighting. And of course, she was rewarded for her fight. Perhaps what impressed me the most, though, even more than her comebacks from those breakdowns in the second and third sets, is how well Coco recovered after missing out on those 2 match points at 6-5. And she shook it off and completely dominated that third set tiebreak, which is a testament to just her exceptional mental toughness. I think Coco is going to be building an intimidation factor too, because players will know that Coco is going to be tough to close out due to the American having that reputation of always fighting to the bitter end. And I know that Brad Gilbert got ragged on a lot for, towards the latter end of their partnership, but I do think that one positive aspect that Brad gave Coco or helped Coco with is being able to scrap and find a way despite not playing your best tennis, winning ugly still. Once again, I still believe Coco didn't play her best tennis, not only in this final, but throughout the entire tournament. So to come through and win the WTA Finals, not playing your best tennis, and to beat the world number 1 and world number 2 in straight sets nonetheless, that's scary. That is very, very scary. And Coco's really, her turnaround from the US Open still is not talked about enough because she went through it during that summer, especially, she lost round of 16 at Wimbledon, at the Olympics and the US Open. And then those Canada and Cincinnati losses especially were ugly. But Coco vowed to come back stronger after the US Open, and she did. Coco didn't really have a poor 2024 season even before this fall stretch. She made 2 slam semifinals, she won a 250 tournament, and she went deep in a lot of big tournaments, but it still was pretty underwhelming for her to be, a top 3 or top 5 player for much of the season. She turned her season from decent/good to great in the span of like a month or so with these Beijing and Riyadh titles. Gauff now sits comfortably at number 3 in the world too, and while there still is a notable gap between her and the top 2 in Iga and Arena, I think it's not far-fetched, to be honest, to say that she can get to world number 1 in 2025. She's not defending a whole slam title, only defending slam semifinals at the Australian Open and Roland Garros. But I think Coco has a big opportunity to gain massive points during the Middle East swing and Sunshine Double, plus other pockets of the year like the North American swing especially. I still think Coco has not scratched the surface of how good she can be, as once again, she didn't play her best tennis throughout the tournament. Her return, as I mentioned, is phenomenal, and I think that's the main thing that won her this tournament. And the forehand has improved, still clearly room for improvement with that ground stroke, but I think Matt Daly has done a great job in the short time span that he's been working with Gauff and really getting that forehand to be more of an improved weapon. But if Coco gets her serve down pat, it's going to be a wrap. She's going to be scary, really scary. I do wonder, though, whether Coco will deal with the increased pressure and expectation on her, because Coco, she does love playing the underdog, and she loves proving people wrong, and she does well to bounce back after having disappointing moments. She did it well last year after losing first round at Wimbledon, and of course this year after losing fourth round at the U.S. Open. But now heading into 2025, she's going to be she's back in the spotlight. You know, people are going to be expecting more of her. She finished this season on a big high, winning a 1000 and the year-end championship. So it's going to be a big test to see whether she can be a consistent, high-performing top 3 player on the women's tour. I think she can, and I think this latest run will do more to serve her and give her more confidence to know that she can be at the world's best, even when she's not playing her best. Now, looking ahead to 2025, now that 2024 is officially concluded, I feel like this is one of the most exciting times on the WTA in decades. You have Arena at the top, and there's questions of whether she can continue her hardcourt slam dominance in 2025 and maybe even win Roland Garros and Wimbledon. And then Iga, she's looking to get back on top and regain the world #1 ranking and win non-Roland Garros slams with her new coach, Wim Fizette. Coco, she already goes deep in slams too, but now with the confidence of her forehand improvements and Matt Daly, plus the serve seemingly getting better too, like I said, the sky's the limit still with her, and she can get to #1, I feel still. And then again, Qinwen impressed me so much this tournament and really has no clear weaknesses in her repertoire. She has that incredible serve, she is solid on both her backhand and forehand, and she is a wonderful mover and gave Coco a run for her money low-key with her defensive prowess. Elena Rybakina, she reminded us why she's a Grand Slam champion with that last win against Aryna Sabalenka in the final round-robin match. And then you got Paolini, Pegula, Muhova, Badosa, Krejcikova, and Navarro, who could also challenge for the big titles in any week. Then Naomi Osaka, she showed very promising signs towards the end of this season and now has a competent coach and Patrick Mouratoglou in her corner. Danielle Collins, Belinda Bencic, Marketa Vondrousova, Ons Jabeur are going to be returning as well. Like, the WTA is up right now. I'm so hyped and excited for next year. And closing this video out, I gotta give props to the WTA and the Saudi tournament organizers for putting on an exceptional WTA Finals. I gotta apologize because I know I was very tough on the tournament when that video came out of there barely being anyone in the stands for the first few round-robin matches, but the fans showed up and showed out the final few days. And I don't know if the WTA made a few calls or they upped the promotion after seeing all like the backlash they've received from social media, but like, the crowd was so hyped and I loved it. Like, it was so nice to see and hear so many Americans and Chinese fans supporting both Coco and Qinwen in this match and throughout the entire week. And I also know, of course, there are human rights concerns with the finals being played in Saudi Arabia, but, you know, and it's always going to be present for sure. But so great to see the more young women in the crowd. And then too, it just seemed very diverse, the crowd did. And I love, because we need people from various walks of life invested in the sport. That's how you grow the sport. It's also just nice that the women have the finals they deserve, because it's no last minute scrambling for a venue, and it's a complete 180 from last year's chaos in Cancun with the rain, the wind, just the mess. Now you have a nice smooth running finals. Like, I'm so pleased. And of course, the money. You got to talk about the money. Coco walked away with a record $4.8 million, which is the largest prize money purse in women's tennis history. Coco is never going to know what debt truly means in her life now. Anyways, I'm so looking forward to these next 2 editions of Riyadh. So props to you, Garbine Muguruza, the tournament director, and the WTA, everyone, for putting on, once again, a great year-end championships. And that concludes my final women's tennis recap analysis video of the year. And let me know what y'all thought about the year-end championships final match and whether you believe that it was top 5 match of the year. I feel like it was. I feel like it definitely exceeded my expectations for sure. And I'm so glad we finally got a good WTA Finals final match. Also, feel free to share your thoughts on the WTA Finals in Riyadh and whether you felt like it was a success, and 2, what you think about the upcoming 2025 season. Any early predictions? Do you think that Coco might actually get to war number one? And then, yeah, feel free to drop your own slam predictions too. I know it's very early, but why not? Again, make sure you subscribe and click that notification bell so you are notified whenever I post my ATP Finals content. I cannot neglect the men either, y'all. I focus on the men and the women. So make sure you all stay tuned for that. Touring action hopefully will be as entertaining as the woman. Thank you all so much for watching and for your support, and I'll see you all next time here on Christian's Court.